Why am I so nervous? Okay. Hi guys, welcome to my very first YouTube video. I'm new here, you're new here, we're all new here. I have been meaning to embark on this YouTube journey for 2 years now. That's how long I have had this Sony camera, and I have filmed a whopping 3 times. So I'm really excited to finally use it. I did a lot of research on TikTok, Google, YouTube to try and figure out the best possible settings. So she's in her YouTube era. If you don't follow me on Instagram or TikTok, I post a lot of beauty content, a lot of get ready with me's. So today is going to be kind of like a casual FaceTime, get ready with me, get to know me, using all of the new makeup that I just got from Sephora yesterday. I say that this is my biggest Sephora haul yet, but knowing me and how much I've spent on makeup the last couple of years, that's not the case. I did plan when I went into the store, I planned on spending like $400 to $500. I had every intention of breaking the bank, but I really was able to control myself. Unfortunately, they didn't have a couple of the things I wanted to try in store, so I will say maybe that's the reason why I ended up saving a little bit more money, but this whole order in total was about $240-ish, which is actually kind of around a good price range in my mind for everything that I got. My favorite Sephora store I've ever been to, hands down, is the Soho location. It's massive. Like, I'm telling you, you could get lost in that store. So if you're ever visiting New York City, definitely check out the Soho location. This haul is going to be a mix of some restocks of a couple skincare products and other makeup products that I'm actually finally running out of. And then of course I had to pick up some of the recent beauty launches because the beauty industry is booming, and they have been for the past like 2 years, especially since I started getting into beauty. Starting off with 2 restocks. These are absolute staples in my skincare routine right now. The chokehold that this product has on me is getting out of hand. This is my 3rd bottle of the Youth to the People Skin Drip Superfood Serum. I don't know what kind of magic they put in this serum, but it gives my skin a glow unlike anything else. I do have acne prone skin, so niacinamide is a crucial ingredient in my skincare routine, both morning and night. It helps with uneven skin texture, enlarged pores, oil control. Niacinamide is a crucial component if you do have acne prone skin. And literally my very first skincare product I think I ever started using was the Ordinary Hyaluronic Acid. If you are just in the beginning stages of building out a skincare routine, hyaluronic acid is probably like one of the first, easiest, and most gentle products that you can incorporate into your skincare routine. It's good on sensitive skin, all skin types. It just helps bring a little bit more moisture and hydration to the skin. These are 2 staples, in my opinion. Another makeup restock is this Natasha Denona concealer. When I tell you guys I have tried 15 concealers, and this is a repurchase for me. It's actually rare when I repurchase a concealer because 9 times out of 10, a brand will release a new concealer that I'll become obsessed with, that I'll kind of push one to the side. Eventually I'll come back to it. Nothing has replaced this for me. I will say, I've been in the mood for a more full coverage concealer recently, so when I went into Sephora, I planned on restocking my Natasha Denona and also picking up an Hourglass. That is hands down my favorite full coverage concealer. It is the best. It's definitely a little bit more drying, and the longer you have the product, the more it dries out. The same goes for any complexion product, but my Hourglass concealer, a tried and true when it comes to a full glam look. So I did want to pick that up, but unfortunately they didn't have my shade. I'm in the shade Beach, so I've got to try another store. And my last restock, obviously, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Press Powder. It is the best press powder in my opinion. I have tried a lot of other press powders out there, okay? But this is actually what put me on to press powder in general. I have combination skin, and in the winter I'm definitely a little bit more on the dry side, so I've always kind of steered away from press powders, but no. This press powder has completely changed my opinion. Also, pro tip, get one that's a little bit closer to your skin tone so that when you set your concealer, it doesn't give you that like flashback Mary moment. Okay, now we're moving on to some of the new releases. I am most excited for these, honestly. Huda Beauty launched a lip and cheek stain, I want to say 2 years ago, that unfortunately is no longer sold at Sephora. I do love that these new blushes that she came out with, she launched a lot more shades, and also 2 that are bronzing shades. It's definitely a new makeup method for me, but honestly I love it, and with my skin tone, bronzing products, no, blonzing. That's what it is. Blondes. Oh my god. Blonzing products work really well, and I feel like I've been blonzing even before it was technically a thing. This is the Blush Filter Liquid Blush. Well, total amateur moment by me. You can tell that I am a beginner with YouTube because my camera battery just died. So, brief intermission. I had to charge it for about 30 minutes. If you don't know, I suffer from a severe case of ADHD, and I frequently lose my thought process like I did just in that moment. So I have no idea what we were talking about, but I'm pretty sure we were moving on to the new products that I picked up at Sephora yesterday. I got 3 Huda Beauty products. She just launched her Ube line. It comes with a lip gloss, liquid blush, and a loose powder. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I have been super intimidated about this powder. I've seen tons of reviews all over TikTok, Instagram. I think that I have the right skin tone for this specific shade of powder, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared. This is a purple loose setting powder. It's not coming across as purple on camera, but you guys, it's purple. I've been reading that this is supposed to work best on people with an olive skin tone, which is your girl. So fingers crossed. And then I did pick up 2 of her blush filters. I'm obsessed with the shades that she launched, Latte and Peach Sorbet. There were a few different shades of blush, and then she launched 2 products that are for bronzing. If you're not familiar with this, this is like a new trend that's been going on social media. It's basically all about the placement of your blush on top of your bronzer. And the specific shade of blush is almost supposed to be like a bronze enhancer. It's like the in-between of a blush and a bronzer. Anyways, I'm most excited to try that because I usually do gravitate towards blush shades that are very similar to that. And last but certainly not least, the Rare Beauty Soft Tinge Contouring. I am so excited for this product. I have spoken a lot, specifically on my TikTok, about the way that I feel about Rare Beauty's contour stick. It doesn't love my skin. We don't mesh, we don't agree. It looks very patchy, it looks very muddy, which is very unfortunate because I know so many people who are obsessed with the formula, the stick, the shade range, all of it. Not for me, unfortunately. So here she is in all of her glory. I am obsessed with Rare Beauty packaging. I got it in the shade Serene. I do imagine she will launch more shades of these, but right now I want to say she has like 6 that are currently launched. I have been loving a warm contour versus a cool tone. I just feel like sometimes a cool tone contour can come across really muddy on the skin. So I felt like this was the perfect in between. Now we gotta start on the makeup. So let's get ready, girls. I just did my skincare like a couple hours ago, so my skin's already pretty prepped. I've actually been kind of skipping the priming step of my makeup routine and just been letting my skincare be my primer. I am gonna do a little bit of the Road Glazing Milk. I actually ordered a new bottle of this that should be coming in the mail soon. This is hands down one of the best hydrating products to go underneath your makeup. I think you could use this as like a standalone step as your primer. This just makes your skin look so bouncy and hydrated and dewy. The perfect formula underneath your makeup. I did have you guys ask me some questions over on my Instagram story of just questions you have about me to get to know me. I love you guys. So many good questions. Okay. How's life? Will I stay in New York? Where else would I want to live? That's a great question. I go back and forth about this pretty much every day that I've lived in New York. Quite literally my favorite foundation of all time, Armani Beauty Luminous Silk. I'm in the shade 7. If you see by my hands, we're looking a little orange. We gotta even this out. So life has been good. Living in New York is everything that I expected it to be. I knew it was gonna be super fast paced. I knew it was gonna be really overwhelming and intimidating. One thing that I really surprised myself with is I'm actually not as overwhelmed by the pace of the city as I thought I was gonna be. Now, do I get overstimulated? Yeah. You have no idea every day. All of the noises, everything happening around me. But I love it because I feel like living in this city in a weird way gets me out of my thoughts a lot. Like if there's ever a time where I'm sitting inside and I'm just moping and I'm like too deep in thought, overthinking everything, I just remember I live in New York and can walk outside and be surrounded by hundreds of strangers and completely distract myself from my thoughts. That in itself has been, like, in a weird way, very healing. Side note, I absolutely love this foundation. You have probably heard me talk about this foundation for years. This is the foundation I wore on my wedding day. I will continue to love this foundation until the rest of time. Hopefully they never change the formula of it. I'm filming this at my family's apartment on the Upper East Side, so shout out to my cousin Sammy. I'm in her closet. I don't know why, I've always loved filming videos in this closet. Opening up my new Natasha Denona concealer. I'm so excited. My other one's getting a little bit more dried out. Recently, my complexion routine has been very much matte, like a very matte, blurred finish. Like I don't want you to see a single pore on my face, with a little bit of glow and highlight. I actually feel like I've gotten more compliments on my skin recently than I have in a really long time. It's the combination of pressed powder and loose powder. It quite literally makes your skin look like it has the blurring filter on in real life. Okay, back to New York. Do I think I'm gonna stay here long term? When I first moved to the city, I told my parents and myself kind of to try and make this move seem like as least intimidating as possible. I told my parents that I was only gonna move here for a year. I was gonna get a year under my belt, then kind of decide where I wanted to go from there. I am definitely gonna stay here. I haven't had my full New York fix yet. There's absolutely no way I would ever get that fix in a year, especially given I actually live in Brooklyn. I don't live in Manhattan. I definitely planned on living in Manhattan my first year I moved here, and then maybe deciding after the fact if I wanted to go somewhere else after that. What's really keeping me in the city is I don't know where else I want to go right now. I don't see myself moving back to Nashville while all of my best friends are there. I don't have any family that lives in the state of Tennessee anymore. It's just like nothing is really pulling me back there. It doesn't really feel like home to me anymore. Not the way that it did, that's for sure. So to answer your question, yes, I do think I'm gonna stay in New York past 1 year. I want to give myself like 3 years here. I think after my lease is up next September for my current apartment, I'm gonna look at potentially moving into Manhattan, which I feel like people usually do the opposite. You start in Manhattan and then you move out to Brooklyn. I absolutely love the financial district. I love Seaport. I think that it has a lot of character. It's not typically as busy with tourists. I feel like I could get more bang for my buck with the apartment search. I have a lot of must-haves, non-negotiables for my next apartment. Let me just say that. The finish of this concealer is just unlike anything else. The formula is so hydrating. It doesn't crease, it doesn't settle into my fine lines, it doesn't separate from my foundation or look cakey or patchy with my powder. It just does everything it needs to do. She conceals and she perfects. Before we move on to testing out the Rare Beauty contour stick, I want another question. What does your ideal day look like? What are you doing on your perfect day? I feel like this is the perfect place to be living in to answer this question. I will tell you what my ideal day is because it's a day that I have literally lived. It was a crisp fall day, and this actually has everything to do with my boyfriend, which a lot of the questions that you guys do have are about my relationship, which I will definitely get into and talk about more. You guys know I am a chronic oversharer online. But before we start, we have to test out Rare Beauty. I'm so excited. I have seen that this blends like absolute butter into the skin. I placed it like right above my cheekbone because that's usually where I prefer to warm up my face. I'm just doing the dotting method. Dot on my nose. I like to do a little bit on my eyelids. Okay, so far I love this shade. This is the perfect shade for me. Using this kind of angled flat top brush from Morphe. They just launched a new brush collection and I'm obsessed with the brushes. That blended so easily. That's stunning. I have seen people apply like a second coat on top because sometimes this can blend out a little bit sheer, but given how pigmented her blushes are, I'm kind of shook if this is going to be sheer. Right off the bat, I'm not noticing that kind of like separation and patchiness that I usually get from her contour stick. Oh my god, you guys, that is blending like butter. Miss Selena, she did it again. She did it again. Okay, what does my ideal day look like? It was a crisp fall day. It was like 65 degrees outside, so it was cool enough to where I needed to wear a little pullover and I could get like my little fall type of outfit in, but warm enough to where I wasn't shivering and it was like unbearable to be outside. The leaves had just started changing and we had just started seeing each other. This was actually our 4th date. We met around like 11:30 for bagels. It's a very touristy area because it's right around the Lincoln Center. It had a line out the door. It actually took us like 25 minutes to get our bagels, but we were both pretty hangry by then. It was like 1 at that point. We walked into Central Park and we found this cute little rock. It wasn't very crowded, but it was a beautiful day, so there were so many people outside. Sat down, ate our bagels, just like yapped, got to know each other a little bit, and then we decided to just walk through Central Park. The best part about this city is that you can just aimlessly walk anywhere and like eventually you'll find your way back to where you were coming from or where you need to go. So cute and so romantic, and all of the leaves were so beautiful. It was literally like right out of a storybook. It is an image that will forever be ingrained in my brain as like serenity. Utter peace. I wish I could relive that day all the time. We actually walked for about like an hour and a half. We walked up pretty far, and when we spit out, we were right near my family's apartment, and so I texted my cousins and I asked them if there were any bars around that had like darts or pool or anywhere we could just like sit and get a beer and have fun and do something other than talking, because we had done that all day. I'm a very competitive person, so I like to see when that comes out in my partner or the person that I'm seeing. So we found this really cute bar and we went and played darts, had some beer. It was just amazing. Like, I wish that I could just relive that day every day. My thoughts on this contour stick, wow. 10 out of 10. I have been looking for a new contour stick and this is absolutely going in my routine. It's so flawless. It doesn't look muddy. I absolutely love the shade. 10 out of 10 for me. Yes, ma'am, Miss Selena. Do you see yourself staying in your current living arrangement with roommates for long? Sticky situation. I have an answer to this, and my answer is I never planned on living with roommates for longer than a year. When I moved to New York, my main reason for getting a roommate, or now two, I have two roommates, was because I just simply couldn't afford to live on my own my first year here. I didn't really know the areas, like if I did live alone, don't know really where I would want to live. And when you sign a lease in New York, like you're locked into that lease, baby. Huda Beauty blush filter. This is in the shade Latte. This is one of the bronzing shades. So because it's bronzing, I'm gonna go right below my cheekbone where I would typically place my blush using this little fluffy Hourglass brush. I'm sorry. Does this have a scent? You guys, this smells incredible. What? How did I not know that this is scented? Watch how easy this blends. I mean, that is my ideal blush shade right there. That is absolutely beautiful. Miss Huda. Y'all don't sleep on Huda Beauty, okay? Oh my gosh. Now I'm gonna try Peach Sorbet because I just have to add a little pop of something on here. Ooh, okay, usually I don't go for a blush this type of shade. Ooh, okay. Literally melts into your skin. You can actually go a little bit more heavy-handed with these than I thought. Wow. These exceeded my expectations. All right, I gotta add a little bit of hydration and moisture to my face. So I'm going Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Before Your Powder. My concealer's been sitting on my skin for a little bit, so I am gonna press that out. There is no feeling like opening up a new makeup product. I'm gonna set my under eyes lightly with my Charlotte Tilbury Press Powder just to lock that concealer in place, and then I'll set with my Ube powder by Huda. It's crazy how much this blurs your skin. It's the 4th time my battery has died. But I'm doing this for you guys, okay? I'm doing this for us. Look at my face, it's half beat. We gotta get this fully beat. Okay, on to the new Huda Beauty Ube Purple Powder. Ube Birthday Cake? Yeah, Ube Birthday Cake. It is literally purple. I'm nervous. I'm just gonna shake it and get some of the product to work down into the lid. I definitely see a little bit of like a purple hue to it, but honestly, not as pigmented as I initially thought it would be. There we go. I have to really press down on the net. Okay. All right, that's coming up a little bit more now. That looks incredible. Okay, shockingly enough, I do remember my train of thought, and I was talking about living with someone after this year. Shortly after living with roommates, I realized how much of a change it actually is, especially at this age. Like, I'm 28, going on 29, live with 2 random strangers, first time living with girls since college, so 6 years. It's definitely been a massive adjustment for me. I absolutely love this powder. That looks so stunning. My skin literally looks blurred. I'm gonna use my YSL bronzer. I never use this. I think it's like too much of a warm tone shade for me, but I love the packaging. It literally looks like a leather wallet. It's so nice. So I think my plan after my lease is up in September is to live on my own again. I really would love to get a studio or a 1-bedroom apartment somewhere in Manhattan and live on my own. Obviously, I don't really know where my relationship will be at that point, but our leases don't really line up anyways. My lease ends in September, his ends in December. So we'll have to talk about that anyways, but that's very much so a when the moment is here, we will discuss it type of situation. Because this powder is a little bit more like of a purple hue, I wanted to go for more of a like berry tone blush if I could. I don't really have many of those, but I do have this Hourglass Leopard palette that has this kind of like purpley shade, so thought I would test that out. Yeah, really pretty. I am blown away by these Huda Beauty products. 10 out of 10 on all of them. We are gonna do a really easy eye look. I'm just gonna use my Master Mattes palette by Makeup by Mario. This is the perfect, just like everyday palette. It has everything you need. The one caveat is it is all mattes. There are no shimmers in it. This has every shade that you would need to build out any sort of eye look though. I'm usually very basic with my eye looks too. Because my battery has died, I feel like the lighting has changed 4 separate times in this video. So sorry about that. I've lost all the natural light because the sun sets at 4 p.m. in New York. The worst adjustment of my life. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of my brown shadow liner. Add some mascara, literally the same drugstore mascara I have been using since I was in high school. This is the Maybelline Colossal Waterproof Mascara. Gotta do waterproof. They make your lashes stay curled all day long. Gotta add some fake freckles. I have been addicted to these since I started doing this. In the summer, I definitely don't really need these, given I do have quite a bit of freckles when I'm in the sun. But in the winter, freckles just make everything cuter. Biable, I think that's how you say it, and Rudy. I actually met Rudy in Nashville at one of the last influencer events that I went to with Philosophy. We got to make our own candles. It was actually like a little staycation at the Soho House in Nashville. It was a great event and I loved all of the girls. I was very sad to be leaving after that. Last step, best step, we have our lips. Recently, I've been using 2 of the Makeup Forever lip liners, Wherever Walnut and Anywhere Caffeine. If you know, Anywhere Caffeine has been my go-to holy grail lip liner for years now, going on years that we have been in a committed relationship. But I've been cheating on her a little bit. I've actually just been adding something else into my routine. So I've been kind of lining my full lips with Wherever Walnut because it's a little bit closer to my actual lip shade. Anytime I line my lips, I'll always think of that video during COVID when Kylie Jenner lined her lips with her eyes closed. That's a skill right there. Truly the perfect shade of pink, and lining your lips makes all the difference. Like instantly, I look prettier. Now I'm gonna take Anywhere Caffeine and I'm just gonna kind of add like a shadow and fill in the edges of my lips because it's just a hair darker. Love it. Then on top, I'm gonna do this House Labs. This is in the shade Guava. It's her PhD Hybrid Lip Glaze. This is so pigmented, but I love the shade of this. It's like a beautiful mauve pink. Look at that. Is that not the perfect combination with the lip liner? Oh my gosh. Truly a stunning lip combo. The only thing that would make this better is if any of these products were a stain, so I knew that these would be long lasting. That is my one bone to pick with these Makeup Forever liners. I know they've launched waterproof that are supposed to last all day, but they just are a little harder to work with. They're not as user friendly, I would say. They dry really quickly, whereas these just wear off so fast, but like look at them. Literally. So stunning. Let's do one last spritz of my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. Usually I'd go in with my One Size Until Dawn mattifying spray at the very end to just lock it all in place, but I decided to go with something a little bit more hydrating and dewy today. Also a key, if you do a lot of like matte complexion products, add a little bit of hydration and dewiness into the skin with a setting spray. Okay, you guys, here is my final look with my new makeup. I am absolutely obsessed with the way that this turned out. Truthfully, I love every single new product that I picked up. Of course, I love my restocks. Only thing that would have made this better is having my Hourglass concealer, but I will be picking that up at a later date, so stay tuned for that. This is my first of many YouTube get ready with me makeup videos, all things beauty. Let me know what you guys are interested in seeing. Stay tuned for my next video. Click that subscribe button, follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you!